Hey guys, welcome back to the Rockford Ordinance, and welcome to another edition of Coffee and Kalashnikovs. We've got our coffee ready to go, little hazelnut, and hey, welcome to the channel. This is a channel where we talk about what you want to talk about in the firearms world. So make sure you join in the chat over here on the side. Let's see, we'll go to live chat so we see it all. By the way, there's a setting up there above the chat. You can go to top chat or live chat. Live chat, you'll see everything. Top chat will only pull some of the, I don't know, whatever comments YouTube believes are the top comments, I guess. But if you want to see them all, switch it over to live chat. And that way you will see everything and not miss anything. There's some good side conversations going over here. We check in with a lot of you, and those of you that have been stopping over here for a long time know how we do it. We talk about a little bit of everything from the AK-47. Our channel was kind of born and centered around the AK-47 platform. We talk about AR-15s. We talk about Second Amendment stuff. We talk about government overreach. We talk about a little bit of everything. But it all seems to center around firearms. We talk about maintenance, shooting, reloading, you name it. If you have a question about it, something you want to ask us, something you need advice on, an opinion on something, need to fix something, do something, refinish something, hopefully we can help you. I don't claim to be an expert, but we've got a lot of people over here. And between all of us, there's plenty of info here and plenty of good info. So join in, have fun. That being said, we are an independent channel. We have no sponsors. We rarely, if ever, get anything sent to us as a freebie to review, that kind of thing. Anything you see on the channel was purchased by the channel to review. So I have no I don't owe anybody anything. I give you my opinion, and my opinion only, what I think about an item, whether it's an accessory, a firearm. Not all videos are monetized. So contrary to popular belief, we're not all YouTube millionaires. So helping out the channel obviously helps us. If you go down below the chat section, there's a little dollar sign there. You can give us a super chat. Any amount you like, anything helps, and it all goes back into the channel to bring you cool new stuff. So, hey, glad to have you. Last week we were coming to you from Florida. For those of you that were here, and kind of a work trip. Had a lot of things we had to take care of after the hurricane that were not quite buttoned up yet. So had to go down and do some things. So spent some time working. It was hot, too hot for me. I like it ice cold up here in the Great White North. It's a fun place to visit, but that's about it. I didn't even get a chance to go out and visit any of the local FFLs in the area. There's a couple neat ones down there, a couple neat ranges, a lot of indoor ranges in Florida. Those of you that have watched the channel for a while know I don't think I've ever shown you a video shooting at an indoor range. I just don't care for them. Too close proximity to everybody else around you. You don't know who's shooting next to you, what their levels of competence are. In my opinion, they can be a little scary. And rifles are my thing as opposed to pistols. Not that I don't like pistols, but we like rifles, right? And 25 yards, yeah, it doesn't quite do it for me. So we don't frequent indoor ranges very often. They have their place, but you're in tight quarters, lack of distance. Usually there's at least one range Nazi in attendance. And by range Nazi, I mean you're firing too fast, you're firing too slow. Oh, your brass hit the ground. It now belongs to us. It's ours. It hit the ground. That's unbelievable, right? I get it. If it goes out beyond the firing line, that's one thing. Safety, right? You don't want to be reaching out past that line. That being said, if my brass hits the ground, I bought it. It's mine. So if I drop my gun, is it theirs? I mean, I don't know. That just bugs me. And hey, when a range session is over, I should be able to ask the range master, hey, can I go 2 steps beyond the line here and collect my brass? I don't know. I know they make money on it, and that's figured into their overall business plan, I'm sure. But hey, there's reloaders amongst us, and bottom line is, I paid for it. I want it back. What do you guys think? Where do you guys shoot? You like outdoor ranges? You like indoor ranges? Got any good range Nazi stories? Those are always fun, aren't they? It's always some guy about 4'8", mandatory aviator sunglasses on that are way too big for his face because he's a diminutive little guy usually. Sleeves are a little too long. Of course, he's either carrying a 1911, possibly a Glock 17, high-waisted jeans with a belt that's over tight and a mahogany-colored holster, and he walks with his arm out like this. The type. We've all seen them. And they want to let you know just how much you don't know and all of that good stuff. Hey, it's a great thing. Keep people safe. But for the most part, anybody watching a range session can know relatively quickly who's an experienced shooter and who's not. And I get it. People make mistakes. And by all means, if they make a mistake, something unsafe, call them out immediately. But it's when they go over the top and you know what it is? It's grammar school patrol boy syndrome. That's what it is. The same guys that were and gals that were patrol boys in grammar school are range Nazis. And we have them everywhere. It's not just the range, my in-laws condo complex, they had a pool Nazi, there's the hallway Nazis and parking Nazis and all of them. They've got to just show their dominance and their knowledge. So I'm sure you guys all have some good stories about that. Perhaps some of you have been accused of being unsafe and were in the right, or maybe you were in the wrong. Maybe you had something accidental or bad happen, and you got read the riot act over it. So tell us your funny stories, and we'll go from there. I've got a few. There's always some that you see when you're at the range. And I was working one day, and a coworker who was new to firearms had bought a new pistol. I don't even recall what it was. I don't know, Glock or Smith. It was a 9. That's all I remember. And this kid wasn't the swiftest to begin with. And we went to a local range at lunch. He says, hey, you want to come with? I want to put a few rounds down range. I said, yeah, I'll run over there with you. So there was an outer viewing area and an inner shooting area of the range. And I went in with him because he had never been there, got him set up at a station. And I think a range officer came over and helped him, told him about the rules, this and that, whatnot. He said he had a little bit of experience, and I kind of just stepped out. I went outside the final door into the viewing area behind glass. And I watched him proceed to shoot a few rounds. And I don't remember exactly what happened. If the gun jammed, it wasn't a stovepipe. It was jammed. and I see him yanking on the slide, guns pointed downrange, and he's yanking, yanking, nothing's happening. He can't get it to move. All of a sudden, I see him put the gun down toward the ground and he's yanking, and I'm looking for the range officer. I don't see him anywhere. I'm about to lean in and say, "Hey, you put the gun down. I'll come out and help you. Let's set it down." Before I can do that, boom, round goes off in the ground into the floor, hits the cement. Cement sprays everywhere. It's lucky he didn't take his foot off. And the range officer never saw it, never nothing. He walked toward the bench, put the gun down, walked away. He was about white as a sheet, came out. What do I do? What do I do? I said, well, just leave it. I'll go in and take care of it. Or better yet, why don't you wait for the range officer and have him clear it for you? I said, that's the best idea. And I walked out into the shop and proceeded to look around. I wanted nothing to do with it, but I think I even had it on video at one point. I think I shot it on my phone. I lost the video. That would have been a good clip, but yeah, there's always good ones. I've been there when guys have walked in a shop. Well, this isn't really a range thing, but we've all been, maybe not all of us, but if you frequent FFLs enough, you'll see some genius pull his concealed carry out from under his shirt and unholster it. Hey, let me show you what I got here. And everybody in the shop hits the dirt, and everyone behind the counter draws on them. And yeah, that's always a fun one. If they're lucky, they'll get a hey, hey, oh, hey, and they'll embarrass the hell out of them. And we've probably all seen that. I've even had a couple guys I knew well. Actually, I knew them well, but I never shot with them. But, they always want to show you what they're carrying. And you'll be one time I'm getting in my car in a parking lot and a guy pulls it out to show me in the middle of a parking lot. I'm like, they just don't get it. They think it's their new toy. By the way, never do that, guys. Gun shop employees don't know for all they know, you're there to hold the place up. You pull a gun out of your holster and, if they shot you right there, they'd probably be within their right. I don't know on that one, but I mean, are you going to take a chance if you're that guy behind the counter? Some guy standing 2 feet away from you is unholstering his weapon. All kinds of craziness. Guys bringing guns into shops, taking them out of case. It's unloaded, and shell comes flying out. All the gun shops got a jar of bullets that came out of unloaded guns. That's always a good one. Or you're at the range and I've even seen experienced people, they're at the range and they're showing you a rifle. Meanwhile, they're flagging you and 4 other people around. Um, in this little conversation, I'm kind of making light of it and looking for funny stories and things like that. But in reality, it's not funny at all, especially when you're involved in it, right? If you're standing there. And if you have someone that you know or don't know, if you're at a range and you witness something that is unsafe, I don't care if it's a little unsafe or a lot unsafe, you need to call it out immediately. Not just, I don't want to say nothing, or, oh, well, okay, is okay now. No, when somebody does something unsafe, just about anything, you need to call it out immediately, loud, clearly, maybe at the top of your voice. Hey, stop now, as loud as you can. Get them to stop. Tell them, set the weapon down, point it downrange, and then fill them in on what they did. You don't have to yell at them about it or be rude or mean or anything, but just acknowledge, hey, what you did was pretty unsafe. Here's what you were doing. Explain it. And just say, I'd appreciate it if you paid a little more attention. Hey, I've done the same thing too. However you want to go about it, be nice about it, but let them know. If you let that pass, one day somebody's going to get hurt. But that's the great thing about the basic safety laws. you usually need to break more than one for something to go wrong, right? Usually you have to break more than two. One, yeah, it's unsafe, but nobody's going to get hurt. Two, probably going to get hurt. Three, for sure. So you need to call it out immediately. Don't be shy about it. Don't worry about that they're going to be, if they're rude, then they're just idiots. Then at that point, if they don't want to listen and I'm being courteous, I'll just pack up my stuff and leave. It's not worth getting into a confrontation. It's not worth getting into an argument. Maybe have a conversation with the range management, what have you. Let them know and walk away. Not a big deal. But hey, maybe you're saving somebody's life and that life might just be yours. But there are some pretty good stories out there. So if you got any, please lay them out there for us. They're always good. Um, Ones that end well, I guess. But let's see who's in the chat today. Hope you guys liked last week's. It was, I wasn't in my usual environment and the lighting was kind of weird. We were sitting outside on the lanai, right on the water. It was 80 degrees. It was still hot. I was sweating, even though it was, well, let's see. In Florida time, it was 9 o'clock at night, I guess. And still super hot. But something different. And I had not done one, I don't think, the week before. And I saw a few comments that week about, a couple of you guys having withdrawals and whatnot. You wanted to have a good coffee and Kalash session. So I figured, hey, I'll take a little break and do it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Joe Mercado, first one in tonight. He says, yes, can't wait. And Chase Kelly is here. Always good to have Chase here. Will be great to see you, Rock. Orion Fixer, hold on tight. He also says, I seriously look forward to this all week. Best live stream on the tube. Well, thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. I still am amazed that people will come in here and listen to me blabber about God knows what for a couple hours at a crack. Frankly, my family can't believe that I can talk this much, but hey, it's fun, right? And gives you something to do. There's too much junk on TV, and I try to not watch the news. It just, it really, it can mess with your psyche. I mean, it just depress you or get you angry, or you don't want to listen to it anymore. It's the same old regurgitated stuff. And I think they think that everyone falls for it on both sides. Both sides are just terrible. You got Fox on one end, CNN on the other, and somewhere in between is the truth. But they really think that we lack common sense and are just blind to the whole charade, I guess. But anyway, yeah, this I guess is a little break from everything, right? Joe Morgan's here. Good to see you, Joe. Man, I saw your video pop up about a drunk preacher or something. I was gonna watch it and I just ran out of time. I was watching a video for a subject for our little get together here tonight, and I didn't have time to watch it, so I'm gonna watch it right afterwards. For whatever reason, I haven't been seeing your stuff in my feed a lot. And when I saw it tonight, it just reminded me to get over there and check out some stuff. But interesting title. So, Impression of a Drunk Preacher, was it? I think. So we'll have to go check that out. But it's good to see you too. Good to see you all rocking a bologna sandwich. I love bologna sandwiches. Little mustard, white bread, magnificent. How about fried bologna? That's some good shtick there. Who else is here? Chase again. Rabbit Hole Reviews. Hey, how are you, man? Hold on. Please don't, no comments on the glasses. I know they look a little liberal, but I can't see a damn thing. Um, LOL head gaskets. Indoor ranges are too loud, even with a can. Yeah, they are. They're just loud, and even concussion, everything else, even just handguns, let alone rifles. Oh man, I just I don't care for them at all. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys like them? Let's see. Chase says, at my range now, new steel targets tested today and cleaning rifle now. Yeah, I like shooting at a good outdoor range or my club or my range and lots of steel. I love shooting steel. I like cardboard too for running drills and stuff. And, just seeing your shots better and just, throw some pasters up and run another drill. It's always fun. Um, Hopefully, if everything goes through well with this property, I will have a range that will rival or be better than Hickok 45. So we'll see. We're working hard at it. Tex Bullington is here. Joe says Chase Rock X Dog Orion. I don't know. Who else? Ross is here. Good to see you, Ross. You know, one get together a year is just not enough. We need another get together, and spring's coming. Hey, did you guys hear about the Army's latest requisition or purchase order that they put in? Anybody hear about that? Quite interesting. You know, we are sending a ton of ammunition over to the Ukraine. A ton. And you all know we're coming off kind of a big shortage, right? Probably the biggest and longest lasting I ever have seen in 50 plus years. And things have gotten a lot better, right? There's tons of military calibers out there, 5.56, 9 mil, the typical NATO stuff, right? 308, even a lot of the hunting calibers coming back. Everything's good. We're seeing powder. Primers are still a little rough, but stuff's out there if you look, right? And yeah, that might, I don't, I shouldn't even be talking about this because the one channel that was talking about it, I almost thought like, you're trying to create a shortage in a way, I thought, but I won't even talk about that because hopefully it doesn't. But the Army requisitioned a boatload of ammunition, and it's not for our Army, it's for the Ukraine. Um, I don't know about you, but you know, they had quite a bit of time to arm themselves, and they've gotten just way too much help. And we need to take care of this country here. That money needs to be spent here, protecting our borders, protecting our children against what's coming over the border. Um, there's so many things that we can use it for, and well, hey, how about some other countries pitch in? That being said, it's an unbelievable amount of rounds that are being fired, both small arms and larger stuff, um, artillery and whatnot. And you can't keep up. There's not enough capacity to even keep up with what they're doing over there. And I find that kind of strange too. I don't know. I mean, they relatively, smaller conflict. Yeah, I get it. It's a war, but seems to me that that much ammunition, I just sometimes wonder where the money in that's going. But I don't know. Who am I to say? But good to have you here, Ross. Like I said, to have a little get together once a year just doesn't seem like enough. We need to have another one, and spring's coming. Um, Ineptocracy. I'm 53. I've never shot a single round at a range, and I shoot a lot. Thank the Lord for acreage. You got it. So I grew up in Chicago, and even growing up shooting with my dad, he was a police officer. He had friends that were FFLs, and the rest of my family being from northern Wisconsin, we always had places to go shoot. Granted, we had a drive, but we'd shoot in quarries, outdoor ranges, outdoor gun clubs. I don't remember shooting at an indoor range. Oh, God, I don't know. Maybe I bet I was. You know what? I'll bet it was at the Chicago Police Academy when I went into the academy. It was probably maybe the first or second time I had shot at an indoor range. Um, up in Wisconsin here, we shoot outside. Spring, summer, fall, winter, doesn't matter. Um, I just can't stand it. And we moved to the country about 17 years ago, and I could shoot on our acreage up until I guess the last couple of years we lived there. There was a house built behind us through a tree line, and it would probably be safe, but it wasn't the thickest tree line. And although I was kind of shooting downhill and they were kind of up, just not completely safe. God forbid a kid, a dog, anything run out and an accident happen. You can't risk that. So I shut it down. No more shooting. Of course, he built a range, and the way his property was situated, he could shoot, but I couldn't. Never met the people, but we have since moved from there, and now I've got acreage with thick, thick woods. Um, we hunt deer back there, and a long shot, maybe the longest shot I could make from any one of the deer stands might be 50 yards, and probably most are 20 to 30 yards at the most. Um, we hunt brush busters, 30-30s, 44 mag. It's thick, but got a couple lanes we shoot, and our new property. Oh, I say our new property. Hopefully everything's going to work out. Um, it'll be perfect. I am keeping my fingers crossed, but yeah, nothing like acreage. You can shoot what you want, how you want, when you want. Nobody telling you this, no waiting for target changes and or waiting for someone to finish shooting so you can go check a target or change a target. I guess I'm lucky because most of a lot of the guys in here, I don't know about most, but a lot, they're relegated to indoor ranges. That's what they have around them. They live in a more metropolitan setting, and that's all that's around. And outdoor ranges, try to build an outdoor range today, a commercial outdoor range. I don't know if you could get one approved in the Midwest. Um, I can only imagine the hoops you got to jump through, and safety wise, and you certainly have to be, rural and not a well populated area, I would assume. And then there's, of course, the environmental challenges. We've all run into that. And then if you're anywhere close, noise issues, neighbors, and no, it seems like no matter how far out you go, people start building up around you. I've been a member of several clubs over the years, and going way back when I was in Chicago, uh, we belonged to a few clubs. One happened to be in the city of Chicago. There was a trap range on Lake Michigan at in Lincoln Park, right across the Lakeshore Drive from the zoo and all that. And they had trap houses set up that looked like little forts almost, and you shot out over Lake Michigan. Well, of course, and matter of fact, they shot the Illinois State Police Olympics there and whatnot. My father won that a couple of years actually, and eventually they shut it down. Environmental, putting lead into the lake. You got to wonder over the years how many fishing sinkers were lost out in that lake, let alone how it was polluted, well into the 80s. I mean, when I was a kid and we'd take a inflatable boat trip down the north branch of the Chicago River. Oh, that was such a lovely trip. The smells, nothing like it. Exotic smells. Um, Not like Caribbean island, more like Stony Island. Um, Oil slicks, condoms, all kinds of wonderful things floating for 10, 12-year-old kids to find. And, you'd see these pipes coming out of the bank, presumably coming from whatever factory was up there, just dumping into the river. And, while the Army Corps of Engineers reversed the flow of the Chicago River, you couldn't eat fish out of the Lake Michigan when I was a kid because of the heavy metals, PCBs, mercury, all of that from industry for a couple hundred years, right? But that little bit of lead settling to the bottom of the lake, that was going to do it. So they shut it down, and that was the end of that. Yes, believe it, believe it. Even the democratic stronghold of the universe, the machine, right? Chicago had a park district, city owned gun range at one time. Yes, they did. I'm kind of sad to say I'm old enough to remember it. But I said I dealt with different things. We belonged to a trap club in the northern suburbs that in the 70s and early 80s was almost considered the sticks. Now it's just an extension of Chicago, crazy traffic, everything. Club called Northbrook Sportsman's Club. We shot trap there a couple times a week, full members, and we shot out over a pond. And over the years, neighbors bought up all around and everything encroached. And although that club had been there, I don't know, 50, 60 years, you're out. But Your Honor, they knew what they were buying into when they bought here. We were here. Well, Your Honor, yes, no, we only shoot for a couple hours, 2 days a week. Well, Your Honor, there's no risk. Yeah, bye, you're gone. And then they bought new property in a town called Grays Lake, Illinois, which was the sticks and now isn't. And they'll be pushed out again, I guarantee you. I guarantee you. There's a lot of indoor ranges in that area, but we always retreated out to private farmland, friends, and then Wisconsin. And Wisconsin's a lot more outdoor ranges. Some run by the DNR, one run by the DNR, owned by the DNR, sponsored by a local Vietnam veterans organization. They maintain it, they upkeep it, they spend a lot of money. It's a beautiful range. They have a donation box, and I make sure to give way too much money to them every time I go because it's you police yourself and each other. There's no range officer. You can shoot to your heart's content 7 days a week, dusk to dawn, or dawn to dusk, I should say. And it's marvelous. Well, recently, and this is the North Woods, guys. I mean the North Woods, okay? We are at the very top of the state, almost to the UP of Michigan. Give you an idea, we are 5.5, 6 hours north of Chicago. We are 3.5 hours, no, more than that, maybe 4 hours north of Madison. We are an hour and a half north of Wausau. We are up here, okay? There's more bears in some areas than there are people. We have a very large Indian reservation up here. More lakes than roads, I think. And don't you know, they shut the range down during COVID, which was kind of strange. outdoor, this and that. It had been open. And all of a sudden, the story was they were getting complaints from the neighbor. The neighbor was a quarry. And they said some random projectiles were wafting down on them damaging equipment, and a few people were out there when it happened. And let me describe the setup here and why I can tell you this story is absolutely bogus. This range, the backstop, all ranges will have a berm, right, of some sort outdoors. I've seen them range from 10 feet high to 20, 30 feet high, 20 yards wide to 100 yards wide. Well, this one is an easy 100 yards wide. Tall, it's 20 or 30 stories high. I mean, it's a cliff, a mountainside, right? For as long as I can remember, there's been a couple huge boulders up at the top of it. And occasionally people would take pop shots at them, right? Well, supposedly somebody shot over that berm. That's not a berm, it's a mountain, literally. And somehow, although you would have to be aimed so high, aim that high, there's no way you'd hit this quarry. It would go way past the quarry. Way, way past. I mean, you literally have to shoot up like this to clear that at 100 yards. Yeah, they said the bullets were just raining down, so they shut it down. Although they did open it up 2 days before deer season, so everyone could sight their rifles in for deer season, because that's a religious event up here. So only 3 things open: restaurants, gas stations, and bars. That's it. The high school is shut down for the first 3 days of deer season. Not much goes on. You can't get anyone to work opening day, opening weekend. It's just impossible. Our gas stations sell booze and bullets. It's how America always was and should be everywhere. It should be the ATF, right? Alcohol, tobacco, and bullets, a convenience store, right? Firearms. And you can get bait too. Bait, bullets, gas, and booze all in one stop. And some pretty good donuts too. I don't know. It's still how I always remember even things south of the Cheddar Curtain being when I was a kid. You know, you didn't worry about anything. Loading your gun into your car or going out back to shoot a little. Nobody, people drove around with guns in their car in the rack and back, and nothing bad ever happened. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Got to ask yourself what changed. But anyhow, I don't know how I got. Encroachment on gun ranges and clubs. Even look, when I was down south, I was in the middle of nowhere, farm country, and had someone, of course, build right behind me. Oh, my fault. I should have bought that acreage back there. But hey, you can only afford what you can afford, right? And yeah, eventually it all catches up to you. So we're just going further out. That's all. But yeah, even the range closure up there, somehow they had to shut it down. It had something to do with COVID. It had nothing to do with um, uh, bullets going over that mountain. I don't know what or why. If they thought maybe there was going to be some unrest, and maybe that gave people the opportunity to make their firearms a little more accurate. I don't know. That's kind of what I thought at the time. And then it went away. They said for a while that the DNR wasn't going to open it up again unless they paid for a range master to be there all the time. And I thought, oh, great, here we go. That's done. But they've reopened and it's normal. So I don't know what came of it. The one and only local FFL we had, who friends with, I told him I will volunteer um, 3 days a week to be a range master there if it keeps it open. How much money do you need to fight this thing? What do you need? I will give you everything down to the shirt off my back to keep this thing open. I just felt that strongly about it. And he had a defeatist attitude, like, no, it doesn't matter what you do, it's just over with. And I literally thought, oh my God, I'm going to go into a state of depression. I just enjoyed it. It was a place I was familiar with, comfortable with. I didn't have to annoy neighbors. Not that they are annoyed, but you never want to, go out. Sometimes you want maybe an extended session and you're blasting away, and maybe somebody doesn't want to hear it on a Sunday. They're having a birthday party or something, and that kind of thing. It's always nice to go there and enjoy yourself. You can see me shooting there in a lot of videos, different than our main range, but the SKS video, you can see me shooting there. Let's see, my Arrow 308 range testing, you can see. Trying to think what else. Those are two that pop in my head right away. Our 308 precision rifle, our Savage, a bunch of others. I don't know, but just a nice range. I'm sure y'all have a range you like. It's your favorite range, and you'd hate to see it go away. You got to protect those rights, guys. So if you see someone doing something stupid, call it out. Anything stupid or accidental that happens puts everything in a bad light. That being said, bad light, I'll tell you about this. Down in Florida, where I was, I don't know, this was a couple of years ago, pre-COVID maybe. There's a lot of indoor ranges by us in Florida that rent firearms, as do a lot of ranges. Florida's cool in that this particular range that's 5 minutes from the house is they rent fully automatic weapons there. You can shoot everything from an M60 to God knows what. I don't know. They've got a little bit of everything. But it became I assume it became a copycat type of thing. But there was a rash that particular year of people coming in, wanting to shoot, picking out a firearm to shoot on the range, buying ammo, targets, all that good stuff. Go out on the range, and presumably new shooters, they would even have, I remember one case, the range employee helped them, showed them how to set up the target, made sure he was safe, all this. Walked away, went out of the range. The guy loaded the gun up, put it to his head, and ended his life. And for a while, it seemed a method of suicide, which is a terrible thing in any case. But you got to wonder, were these... I got to assume they were familiar enough with firearms to do that, or maybe not. I don't know. Was it a way to get back at or be part of the anti-gun movement? A serious way of getting back at us? I don't know. Either way, it's a tragedy, but it brings so much bad press and puts the spotlight on things for a while. And it happened like 2 or 3 times in a year, twice at one place, once at another. And they instituted precautions, and it still happened because, let's face it, how long does that take to happen, and how are you going to stop it? Somebody wants to do that, they're going to do it. You got to be able to see it in advance and try and get somebody some help, But, it's like anything. If somebody wants to do something, they're going to do it. If a criminal wants to get his hands on a firearm, he'll get his hands on a firearm. All the gun laws in the world ain't stopping that. And they still haven't proposed a single one that I know of that will stop criminals from getting guns. It just won't. It's not the solution. Here's a good one for you guys. I'm full of like little tidbits tonight. Since January 1st, 2023, in case you haven't noticed, there has just been an absolute storm, a 100-year flood of not laws coming down, but bills being pushed through Congress, anti-gun bills just flooding down. Every day you can click into YouTube and there's another one and another one and another one in this state and that state. Since Bruin, why Bruin affected things and really set them steaming and boiling, and in my opinion, knowing that everything they've pushed for all these years is over or going to be over. Not for sure. And this is not saying you should stop fighting and be on the defense. By no means am I saying that. But Bruin changed a lot. And while it's going to be a while and it's still going to be a fight, it seems like it was a call to arms or a last flurry, flailing, screaming, going down, kicking type of thing, that they're just going to throw everything and anything, including the kitchen sink, at us that they can, full well knowing that per Bruin, it's unconstitutional. All these things they're throwing out there, right? But they're going to do it anyways. And here's the fact. Since January 1st, 2003 to now, well, we're still February today, right? So 2 months into the year, there have been, I believe, and these are just major bills put forward. I think it's 24, I think it was, is the number. Don't quote me on it, but whatever it is. There's been more in the first 2 months of 2023 than have been brought up to Congress in the prior 70 years combined. 70 years worth of anti-gun bills. 70 years. There were less anti-gun bills presented to Congress than there have been in the last 2 months. What do you think of that? That's incomprehensible almost, right? So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Does it tell you that they see defeat in the future and they're just throwing a plate of spaghetti at the wall? Does it tell you that maybe something's coming down the pipe and they're serious now? They're going to get it, something put through. They want them gone. All of the above. Is it a hissy fit? What is it? What does it tell you? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of everything. But can you imagine? More laws presented to Congress in 2 months than there have been in the previous 70 years. 70. It's absolutely mind-boggling, isn't it? So I'm not losing my mind that I thought, man, there's just seems to be one every day. 24, I guess that's one every 2 days, right? It's just nuts. Look at the states involved, and there's more coming. There's more coming. There's a ton that are just in committee now. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. You poor guys in Michigan, you got what's coming to the people in Illinois. who knows? May hit Wisconsin here soon. You never know. Um, it's crazy. Crazy. Anyhow, my phone's dinging like crazy. Oh, a family member that still resides in the Chicagoland area just texted me, and this is great news. Great news. Lightfoot lost. Beetlejuice is gone. You know what? I fully thought she would win again, even though how that person that it is just demolished the city I grew up in. I love that city. I remember thinking, I'm never leaving here. This is the greatest city on earth. It was fun. There was everything. It was safe. You had Lake Michigan. You had, uh, we still had good pheasant hunting and everything. There's anything you wanted to do, you could do. And now I wouldn't go back there other than for one fast food joint. I wouldn't go back there if you paid me. On a, I don't know what you call it, a social level. I unfortunately, I still have to work there, but that's only for a few more years. So then I will be completely cut. But yeah, Beetlejuice lost. With what they've done to that city, it's unbelievable. But who knows what you're going to get now? I don't know. I don't know who won. I don't know who was running even. I didn't really pay attention other than for their sake, friends and family sake, I hoped she would be gone. But yeah, wow. Anyhow, let's see. What else are you guys talking about here? Tex Bullington, Joe, Ross. Here we are. I had to find my place again. Gort is in the house. Joe says, I married two people on Discord last night. That's your video? So Joe got into the sauce, hired himself a minister, and married two people. Do you have a mail order pastoral? What would that be? A pastoral certificate or degree, Joe? For tax purposes, perhaps? I don't know. Manchurian candidates, yeah. No more Beetlejuice. That's what happens when people didn't fight for California. Now it's spreading. Yes, indeed. That's from TAC 556. They can't rule if we don't obey. Orion, you are absolutely correct, sir. Absolutely correct. That all being said, there's a lot of good news coming down the pipe. We've had some big wins and some good news, and a lot more coming. It's California's turn to shit or get off the pot, so to speak. Same thing with New York is coming to a head. Although there's going to be more, it's got to go to the next court up and whatnot. There's, it gets drug out, but things are certainly looking better than they have in the past. Things are looking pretty bleak there, and there's some hope. We need to keep fighting. Knife of the week, blade of the week, guys. I got a new one. It's been a long time, long time, other than bayonets, a long time since I bought a knife. I got really into knives for a long time. My father-in-law had got me into it. He loved everything from pocket knives to fixed blades to you name it. He loved it. He loved the craftsmanship and the embellishment and the fine craftsmanship of it all. He called it jewelry for men. And in a lot of ways, that's true. It's something everybody's got their EDC, their everyday carry for a pocket knife or maybe a fixed blade. And you carry it wherever you go, or maybe you got a bunch of favorites, a collection, and you change them up. It's kind of what I do. Probably have enough to where I could have a different carry knife, pocket knife every day of the year. Could probably go a full year with a different knife every day. Anyhow, that being said, you go through phases. You go through the knife phase. Maybe you go through a gun phase, a reloading phase. Maybe you get into, I don't know, lightsabers. Which, yeah, that's the thing, guys. I discovered it last night. I'm not a Star Wars geek, but I love Star Wars, actually. It brings back good memories. I enjoy the story. And who grew up in that era that did not absolutely love and want a cool lightsaber that made all the noises and all that? And I guess I was a little too, well, you're never too old, but I guess I was a little too old to have the toys. And I don't ever remember being somewhere where I saw a lightsaber for sale, like official Star Wars thing. Um, to buy, or I would have bought it, right? I remember the younger kids seeing them with them later, relatives and whatnot, and thinking how cool even those cheap ones. Well, if you guys aren't into it or don't know, I ran across a random video, the most realistic lightsaber money can buy. There's companies out there you can pay anywhere from about $150 up to well, there's some limited editions in the $3,000 and $4,000 range, but a solid, and there's different kinds. There's display kinds that they work and all. Some that are just made for wielding. There's others that are made for dueling or battle swords that can withstand it. They've brought into it LED technology, and I can't remember what they call it. But it used to be basically a flashlight with a tube on it, right? Well, now you hit the button and the light goes out to the end, and the same thing when it shuts down. So cool. The noise, the audio cards they put in them, incredible. Colors so bright. They can make it flash when the swords hit and whatnot. Can get different blades, different what do they call it? The hilt. There's replicas for every character, all kinds of stuff. So I'm watching this video. Like I'm telling you, you would not believe it. But you can even get a really nice one for a couple $100. But if you want to go all out, I mean, you could get like the be all end all almost for $500-600 that does all these things, and they are really neat. I thought, God, I'd be in that maybe $300 to $600 range, depending, but they change colors. You can make any color you want. They just the coolest stuff. Yeah, watch some videos on it if you haven't. Maybe there's one out there, top 7 lightsabers or top 11 lightsaber companies. A lot of small companies doing it. Long wait times in some cases, stuff like that for the really good stuff. But man, they are something. Anyhow, we all go through phases, and I had a knife phase for a long time. Just enjoyed it. I enjoy just like guns. I see as much art in it as I do enjoy shooting them. You guys have heard this before if you've been on the channel for a while. I love the melding of these rough natural resources. The wood, take a piece of rough wood and essentially the product of a rock that comes out of the ground, iron ore and different metals melded all into one, fit together to make this perfect melding of gorgeous smooth wood and perfectly polished, straight, symmetrical blued steel. To me, it's art. It's art. I love to look at it and think, what was the maker thinking, and the craftsman that put it together and hand polished it. And I just love that. It's really neat to me, and I see that in knives. Anyhow, with no further ado, um, you guys have run across this knife company. Uh, Probably a lot of you may have a bayonet made by this company. It's been around forever, and they made bayonets. Not sure about World War One, but for sure World War Two. They made bayonets for the Grand, and let me see if they spell it out completely here. No, well, it's OKC is the company. Who knows what OKC is? Somebody's got to know. Type it in if you know, and I'll hold off telling you. I wonder if this is the date they were founded or the model number of the knife. But on the label on the back of the scabbard, it says OKC 1889. I wouldn't be surprised if that's when this company was founded, 1889. I'm guessing, but it's been around a long time. Anybody guess? Kershaw is my favorite. Use it up, and $30 gets you a new one. Just back from work. What did I miss? I don't know. Hattori Hanzo's here, guys. We can begin now. Good afternoon, Mr. Hanzo. Or maybe I should say good morning. Tardy, as usual. You'll be staying after class, and it's going to cost you. You're going to have to pay your fine in ammunition, and I'll let you know just how many cases you'll have to send. Yeah, this is getting a little out of hand. Anyhow, OKC. Oh, there we go, Orion. Ontario Knife Company. They made bayonets for the Grand. I'm positive they probably made them for the M16 and the M14 and everything else in between. Maybe World War One. Buddy of mine, we were at a Cabela's, and I was overlooking at something, and I walk over. He's at the knife counter, and I just haven't been into it. I don't know. I guess I have everything that they sell, you know. And he was looking at what the hell was he looking at? K-bars. And I walked up. I said, "Oh, good choice," because I love K-bars, right? And I've got as many as I don't know. I got a ton of K-bars. And I said, "Oh, I got that." He had 3 out or 4 out. I said, "Oh, I got that one. Oh, I got that one, that one, that one, that one." He said, "Well, what's your favorite?" I said, "I love them all, but," I said, "that's the one I bought first right there. I just thought it was handy." So we all know the full-size K-bar that's roughly like this, maybe a little shorter. But they came out with a smaller version of it that's, I don't know, roughly, 2/3 the size, maybe, thinner handle and all. I said, "That's the one I started with, but it's hard to go wrong with the classic, right?" He wanted one with the back, with serrations at the back, because they make it in the K-bar a straight blade, and then one with serrations toward the end of the blade, or the hilt end of the blade. And they were out of it, but he ended up buying the small one that I recommended. But he had this on the counter too. And I saw OKC, and I went, "You're kidding me." And I looked at the knife, and I pulled it out of the sheath. It comes with this nylon sheath, really a heavy nylon sheath. This is not your typical Chinese crap thin nylon sheath where it's real floppy, although it says sheath made in China, but it does not feel like it. They spec this thing out right. The stitching, it's double stitched at all the seams. It's got molly. You can mount it to molly. It's got a lanyard at the end here. You can snap it down here over the hilt, over the handguard, actually, to retain it in the sheath. And then you can also snap it around the handle here if you really want to make sure it's going nowhere. There's some eyelets up here to lace it to something. It's really not completely set up to mount horizontally like in the smaller back, but I guess with the Molly you could figure something out with your belt and all. The only thing I didn't like about the sheath was the white or gray stitching here. I don't know why they did that. To me, I would just want it black. I guess they wanted to add a little something. I'm sure they paid more for that. But yeah, I don't know. I usually wear a utility / fighting knife on my plate carrier right about here, down like this so I can draw down. This sheath, and this seems, and I don't know if it is or not, but it seems a little longer than the K-bar. Anyhow, I see that it's Ontario Knife Company, and I pick it up and I go, wow, what a nice knife. Take a look. It's got a nice drop point, no serrations, just a nice edge, blood groove. It's a full tang knife. You've got brass eyelets here. The entire handle, there's not really scales, but the entire handle that's solid is overmolded in Kraton, however they pronounce that. How it differs from a K-bar is that the grip on a K-bar it's not, well, it's sort of round, but it's slightly ovaled. And it's very nice on a K-bar, but this was a bit different. It's flat. So you have a flat here and a flat here. And rather than just a smooth curve, this side's relatively flat too. Yeah, it's curved here at the corners, but it allows you to index the knife a little better. And you won't worry about it rotating as much. Not that a K-bar does, but this, you know it's not going to. I'm not big on all the terms on knives. I don't know what they call this hook here. It does seem to be just the Kraton here, but from what I can see into the eyelet here, it is solid, overmolded, full tang. I don't know if there's full brass scales here. I guess you'd have to cut one open or call the company, but it's certainly a solid handled material underneath this, and I can tell it's full tang. It's called their SP1 Combat. Nice knife. The edge, it's sharp, but not as sharp as a K-bar out of the box, which K-bar is by no means razor sharp out of the box. It has this black Cerakote or powder coat coating on it, which is fine. I don't mind that. See if we can get a picture of the edge here. I don't know. It's a little rough, I guess. Certainly wasn't honed at all, but it'll slice paper if I got some here. Let's see. What do we have? Here's a business card. Little tearing here, but not bad. Yeah, see? Not that sharp. I'm going to have to sharpen it. But just a nice size. Not too big, not too small. I like the way it indexes. I like the way it feels. It's just a nice knife. But the best part about this whole thing, One being that it's Ontario Knife Company, right? Made in the USA, other than the sheath, from a legacy company. But here's the best price, or the best thing is the price. A K-bar now, the full-size K-bar like this, I've seen them lately anywhere from about $100 to $115, okay? That same knife, not too long ago, you could get in the $50, $60 range. This knife right here with the sheath was $44. $44. 44. Do you know how absolutely dirt cheap that is for a knife like this? Cabela's, I assume Bass Pro Shop. If you want one, go get one. I don't think they'll be $44 for long. Just nice thick spine. Can really get a thumb on there, you know. I don't know why knife companies don't make this flat area here just a hair longer before you get to the blade, because I like getting a finger on there in front of the guard, just if I'm working something, whatever. I don't know. The only thing I can complain about is it not being that sharp out of the factory. But again, that's no big deal. I don't know what steel this is. I'd have to look it up online, I guess. I don't recall it saying it on the package. But for $44, an Ontario Knife Company full-size drop point fighting / utility combat knife with a full tang craton handle, $44 with a really nice sheath. I don't think you can beat this knife, uh, period. What are you going to get for $44? Something made in China. There's some decent stuff that's been coming out of there, but I certainly don't want to give them money right now. But here you have a legacy company, Ontario Knife Company, with a usable, fabulous knife that I assume, you know what, for $44, we're going to do some testing on this thing and literally pound the crap out of it. We'll dig with it, we'll chop with it, we'll cut with it. We'll see just how tough this thing is. I should have brought the K-bar over here to compare it. Maybe I have one. Hold on. Give me. I only got to shift a little to grab one. Hold on. Perfect. I got it. Here's its twin in the K-bar. Hold on a sec here. Here's the K-bar. Leather sheath on the K-bar. No molly. Nice leather loop. Riveted all the way around. Hole here for a lanyard. No button strap over the handguard, but you have one up here. The originals were stacked leather. This is craton. This is not overmolded, however. While it looks like it could be stacked, it is not. It's a solid piece that they put over, and then they put the pommel on. You can see it's full tang. Tang goes all the way through, and then they pin the pommel on to hold either the stacked leather or the craton. I have both. I have a stacked leather one, and I have this. This one happens to have the serrated edge here that my friend did not want. Drop point, thinner handguard, but all steel, not overmolded like this one. If we look at the size side by side, look at that, guys. They're almost identical. If you go from handguard to handguard, let's see. They are within a 1/4 inch of each other, I would say, somewhere in there. Let's see. Oh, they're spot on. I mean, yeah, maybe a 1/4 inch difference, right? The handle is a tad longer on the Ontario, which You know, I might actually like the Ontario to be a bit shorter, to hold your hand in a little better, and that extra length kind of bothers me for mounting it on my rig up top here, where the K-bar just, although that it seems like a little bit, it just will fit better. USA made as well, been around forever, right? You can see how this handle is just ovaled, right? Where this has the flats and sort of indexes better. Comfortable wise, this is more comfortable, but this is not uncomfortable. It's just different. Um, and I like the fact that this grip is put over and then pinned, whereas this is over molded. And you can see the mold marks here. I don't know the steel on this compared to this. K-bar is a hair sharper from the factory, but $115, $44. Um, Leather sheath, kind of old school. No real way to mount it other than through the belt. There's tons of other sheaths you can get though. A little bit more modern sheath with a couple more mounting options. There's certainly other knives out there with even more mounting options than this, but it's very stiff. Um, it's not a thin sheath at all, the nylon, and it is lined with a plastic liner. But even up where there's no liner, this thing is thick. It's very, very nice. Yeah, so both great options. K-bar has always been my favorite. If I had to grab one knife, it'd be this. But for $44, man, that's yeah, when I check the metal and we use this thing, if this thing holds up anywhere close to well, why wouldn't you? That's a game changer, $44. That leaves you extra money for ammo, for whatever, something else to add to the kit, right? At 40% or less than 40% of the price, roughly. So what do you think of that? What do you like? Would you try the Ontario? Obviously, they've been around a while. Both USA. Nice stuff. It's my favorite style of knife. I love a drop point. I like a thick spine. Um, I just love that. It's an iconic style of knife and the most handy, I think. So, yeah, if you want one, head over to Cabela's for $44. It wasn't a sale; it was just the everyday price, $44. They have the better knives in a glass case at Cabela's, and then they have others in blister packs and whatnot. They had this in the case. They also had it in blister packs because it said they had two left, and he was looking behind the counter, couldn't find it. Went out, and there were some in blister packs. So I do like the fact too that it's slightly angled down the whole blade from the handle. I like that look. Here's a good example of that. This is another K-bar, kind of a modernized K-bar. It's actually it's got a Kydex. This is a Dozier design K-bar. Very, very nice knife. I think these were limited. Taiwan 1275 steel, full all the way through with some kind of polymer scales. Very grippy though. Nice knife, and certainly very sharp right out of the box. Yep, that's a nice knife. But this wasn't the one I was thinking with the drop. Here's the one I was thinking. This was actually like a Walmart buck knife. I just saw it and I fell in love with it. You guys have seen this one before, but I love how this angles down like that. It's got the drop point, but the whole blade angles down from the handle. Do you see that? If I hold, and this, while it's not that exaggerated, where'd it go? What the heck did I do with it? Too many numbers. Where the heck did it go? Oh boy. I can't believe it. Oh, here it is. Just ever so slight a drop here, which you really only see when you're looking at it here, but I like that. This is a fairly cheap knife. It's just a stamped, one piece. I like the nice handles, and I just love the shape and curve of this blade. It's comfortable. This knife was more money for the buck. And this is not a USA made buck. Oh, yes, it is. It is made in the USA. I'm surprised. No rivets, screws here. But I love the shape of this knife. Love it. I wish I could get something better quality, more along the lines of a K-bar or something with this exact knife. If anybody's a knife maker and wants to show their talents off and wants to send one to me, oh man, I just think that is the sexiest blade design. I just love this thing. Anyhow, yeah, that's enough about it. That's a long knife blade of the week, huh? But hey, I get excited when I get new things. It's been a while on a knife, and for me to buy a knife, guys, it's got to be something that interested me. I don't just, I'm knifed out, so to speak. I mean, I've got everything I need when it comes to knives. And yeah, once in a while, when something really catches my eye, I'll pick it up. And it's been a long time. And never would I have thought it was a $44 knife that would catch my eye. But yeah, grab one. Let's check the comments. I want to know what you guys think about it. So Kershaw's great knives. I've got some early Kershaws before they really became commercialized, mass produced. I've got some that were done as one-off originals, I've got a set of folders, a small one and a larger Skinner that are done out of, I think it's elk bone. The scales, just beautiful. Super high polished blades from the late 70s or mid 70s, and still never been sharpened. Original, just like a scalpel. Orion, is that Ontario Knife Company? Yes, you were correct. You should have won a prize for that one. I have the same K-bar. Love it. Aren't they great, Russ? I will say, though, man, I love a K-bar leather, stacked leather grip. While they can be very smooth and slippery, I just love the look of them, and nothing smells better. When you get a brand new K-bar with a stacked leather handle in the box and you open it up, oh, God. I keep them in the box for as long as I can, so the smell stays around. Open it, get my fix, close it back up. Eventually, the smell goes away, and then I store them outside the box. But yeah, for a do anything. If you're a one knife man, that's a knife to have. Wearing that on your chest rig is like wearing a fixed blade in front of the hip. One false move and you're stabbing yourself. Nah, no, they're in there solid. They ain't going anywhere. And the tip's up over your shoulder. If you mean like here or something, I don't know. And usually on the chest rig, it's not the full size. They're just a little big for here. The small one's in the other room, but The small one total length is probably from the handguard to here. Same, it looks identical. It's just shrunk down. That's all. It's about 3/4 scale, maybe. I don't know. But that's what I usually put up there. It's perfect for there. The full size I'd keep. I like mounting them across the small of my back. I like them there. What else? Nobody else wanted to comment on it? Damn. So anyhow, yeah, that was cool. Actually, let's talk about what I've seen out locally lately. Ammo. Lots of ammo. Pretty much anything you want. Every brand and type and weight of 9mm. Tons of 5.56. Ammo prices dropping. Cheapest I saw, I got an email the other day, $7.99 a box for American Eagle. Pretty cheap for brass ammo. Reloading supply. There's everything and anything. If you want ammo, if you didn't stock up in the shortage, if you held off because of prices, now's the time to jump in, guys. I'm seeing 1,000 rounds of 9 as cheap as $230, somewhere in there. I think the cheapest I ever paid was about 168 1,000 for Cellar and Below. It's cheap. It's dropping down there. Cheap is relative, I get it, but it's dropping again. No reason to jump in, because if there is a shortage on NATO calibers coming up because of Ukraine, why not grab it now? Primers seem to be more available. Small pistol primers, which were unobtainium for a couple years now. I'm not going to say they're everywhere, but I don't have to look too far to find some. A small rifle is out there in abundance. Large pistol here and there. Large rifle's been a little tougher, but they're all out there. I can usually always get my hands on small rifle. I buy number 41s from whatever brand. Military 5.56 primer, little harder cup. I managed to get my hands on 5,000 CCIs, I don't know, 8 months ago maybe. And then 5,000 additional CCIs, and 1,000 or two thrown in here and there. The ones I was using, I tried to, when I was going to do, like, I don't know, anywhere from a couple hundred to 1,000 rounds, I'd go buy 1,000 round box of primers and load from there, keeping my cases and of 5,000 primers per box. Today at a Bass Pro Shop, I got Winchester military 5.56 small rifle primers, 1,000 of them for $99. That's the cheapest I've seen small rifle primers in ages. Still being American made. Small pistol is hard to find. I've bought them here and there when I can get them. I've got some CCIs I've come across, and then an imported brand out of, was it Brazil maybe? Yeah. And I've loaded a ton of 9 with those. They load nicely, and they run just great. And those were $77 1,000. Really inexpensive at current pricing, and just as good as anything I've ever shot. Brass is expensive. I usually get all my brass for free. I'm a range gremlin, a brass gremlin. Um, I pick it up off the ground. And wintertime, snow being deep, we got 2 feet of snow, guys. Um, while I was gone in Florida, came home to 2 feet of snow. But it's hard to get brass when there's that much snow on the ground. And frankly, there's not a ton of people out shooting, so there's just not a lot there. I bought some Starline brass. I want to say for 1,000 rounds of Starline brass, brand new, it was about 280. So about 28 bucks, 30 bucks, 100, something like that. Yeah, 28 bucks, 29. Let's see, 14, about 30 bucks, 100. Starline, which is inexpensive brass, good quality, but inexpensive brass. Just figured I needed some brass and I wanted some new to do some precision loads with. So I bought 1,000 rounds of that. Powder, there's a lot of powder out there. Some of the stuff you don't see too often, you don't come across too often, but it's still out there. You can find it for sure in pounds. You can't find it in 8-pound jugs. I shoot a lot of tack powder for 5.56, and I've got a couple 8-pound jugs of that, and it's available. I saw it really cheap today, $34 a pound, which was cheaper than some of the really cheap online places. No, it was $34 a pound for the 8-pound jug online. More like 40 for the 1-pounders. And I found it today, 1-pounders at Bass Pro for 34 bucks. Cheap for that. Got some powder for the Grand. So IMR 4061, I believe. So we're going to load up some Grand rounds. I want to really get out there and really use that Grand. Run some drills with it. Be nice to get really proficient with that platform where push came to shove, you could run it just as well as anything else out there, right? Hell, millions of our heroes did, right? There's a lot to be said for that gun, and I think it's still viable today. Obviously, a high-powered, heavy-hitting battle rifle cartridge. Yes, it's a heavy gun. It's got great sights. It's got great reliability. Yeah, it's 8 rounds, but get proficient at loading those clips. And yes, they are clips. They're not magazines. They're N-block clips. Get proficient with them, and you can get fast, no doubt. Guys will say, well, you can't top off a mag. Oh, yes, a mag. You can't top off a clip. Yes, you can. You can top off a Grand clip. Look it up. There's tricks out there to do it. It's not that hard. I think it's still a viable platform. Yeah, why not? What do you guys think? Or how about its successor? Essentially, not as well, close to the Grand, but box fed, right? That's certainly a viable platform. I'm saying in a world where we were suddenly faced with maybe an assault weapon ban or something, they always seem to leave the Grand off of that, which from their mindset, I think, looking at things from their mindset, I think that's a tragic mistake that they made leaving it on there. Watch, they'll use it the next one that comes out. It won't be on there. But it doesn't have a pistol grip. It's not black. It's wood. And it doesn't have one of those, super scary wraparound. Well, actually, it does have a wraparound handguard. But, they don't notice those things because it's wood. They don't even notice that super scary bayonet lug on there. You know, it must blend in. They don't get, but no pistol grip, and certainly none of those big scary magazines hanging out the bottom. But I'll bet you take one of those boys from the 40s, and I bet they could keep up pretty well um, running that gun through its paces. I don't know. Let's see. Who else joined in? Anybody? Can't find large rifle primers for 30-30s. That's funny because the last of mine before I ran out was used to load some 30-30s. And I believe I I did come across some large rifle. I think I only got 1,000 though. But I don't know. If I get back to shooting the AR-10, which anybody want to see some more videos on that? I can burn through them pretty quick, but I'm always on the lookout. That's my next thing, guys. While I guess you could say I was sort of caught short on the reloading component end when all this hit. But as I've told you regular guys many, many times, right toward the end when I had plenty of ammo, it dawned on me. Bling, the light bulb went off, and I started buying components and powder. And thank God I did, because I sort of got the jump on most guys by, a month or two maybe, and was able to put enough away to where throughout the entire shortage or ammo scarcity problem, I don't know that I fired more than a box or two of factory rounds. Everything was reloads, with rare exception. Some of the testing we did on 7.62 by 39, obviously we shot some factory rounds, but very few, considering what we normally would shoot. I get through the whole thing with nothing but reloads, didn't encroach upon my stockpile, and came out the other side very, very low, but still able to load more. So I don't want to be that stressed and have to worry about the price gouging that went on should it happen again. So anytime I can grab primers or powder or projectiles, projectiles were never really a problem. That was the easiest part of it. That being said, when times are good, you can put away bulk 223, 5.56, 30 caliber stuff, 9mm. You can put bulk projectiles away extremely cheap. Whether it's copper jacketed, whether it's powder coated stuff, whatever's cheap, buy it up. Buy some good stuff too, but buy it up. I mean, when you buy bulk 5.56 projectiles, usually about $100 1,000. This is way beyond before any price increases. And today, not through one of my bulk online inexpensive places, just again at Bass Pro, $12 100, so 120 1,000. Not bad. For Hornady 55 grain full metal jacket boat tail with cantelor, so not bad. 68 grains were under $20, and I like shooting 68 grain. I shoot a lot of 68 grain, and I like 75 grain as well. The 75s were expensive. They were like $29 100. So I stayed away from them, even though I'd like to load more. I've got a lot loaded, so not worried about it. At 12 bucks, I couldn't pass some up, so I grabbed some. Yeah, so reloading stuff is getting much better. A lot of powder out there. You can always seem to find something. And even most of your favorites. You may run across, like I said, Varget can be sporadic right now and a few others, but for the most part, it's not bad. Ammo shortage. You mean the government withholding of ammo? Yeah, I don't know what to believe on that one. I mean, you got to remember how many new gun owners. I mean, if they all only bought a box or two, it made sense. Like look at the shortages everywhere. When all that was going on, there were shortages in every area of the supply chain. So I don't know if I think that. Plus, you were dealing with orders the military had placed, and they, by contract, have to fill those first. So what we were getting was just the trickle of what was left over. I don't know. I guess looking back at everything else that went on, it certainly could have been. If I was a designer of the plan, that certainly would have been part of my plan. So, yeah, maybe you're absolutely right. I don't know. But, several other channels have been talking about this Ukraine ammo thing. So, who knows? We'll see. I just wish we weren't being sucked into this, and I shouldn't say sucked in. We were bought and paid for to get into this, and it's not good. It's not good at all. For those of you, when I talk about reloading, if it bores the shit out of you, tell me. If it does bore you, you should pay attention to it. You should learn. If you don't know about it, you should learn about it. You should get into it slowly, cheaply. You can get into it really cheap. Buy some Lee stuff. Even RCBS, a full rock chucker kit isn't all that much money. And learn a little bit about it. Learn how easy it is to do, and start stockpiling it. It is not cheaper than buying loaded ammo. I can buy loaded 5.56 cheaper than I can load it right now. I could be buying 1,000-round cases cheaper. But that being said, I enjoy it. It gives me something to do. My stuff is more precise than anything you can buy out of the box. Actually, it's probably even maybe a hair cheaper if I'm picking up my brass for free. If I'm buying brass, absolutely not. Brass is the key. It used to be definitely cheaper when I was picking up brass, and primers were 20 bucks a thousand. But primers are 5 times the cost now, and that's the difference. But I would still get into it, because if nothing else, buy stuff, ask someone else the couple other little things you need, buy the components, and maybe a couple thousand rounds of 5.56 and a couple thousand rounds of 9, put it in the corner. And when that next ammo crunch hits, you'll pick it up and you'll learn, and you'll probably enjoy it. I hate to tell you this, but even if you're not reloading, it pays to pick your brass up, man. You can sell it. I mean, what was it? I'm trying to think how many. Well, here, 1,000 rounds of new brass, 223, is essentially between 250 and 300 bucks. So what's 1,000 cleaned and ready to go once fired worth? If they're worth half of that, it's 150 bucks. Hey, Who couldn't use $150 for doing a lot of nothing? Hell, you can deprime it and clean it with household chemicals and have it look brand new and sell it to somebody at the range. You know, I don't know. I've always saved brass and it's paid off. It's just another way you can be ready. One day, things are looking up, but one day, look at the restrictions. There's all kinds of laws hitting right now, or bills hitting, I should say, calling for regulations on ammo, how much you can buy in X time period, stamping and tracking of it, tracking of mass purchases of ammo. And by mass purchase, I've seen them say anything 1,000 rounds or over. I've seen some bills out there that are anything more than 200. Some wanted to limit you to 60 rounds every 3 months for a certain caliber. How's that grab you? Some want you to do a background check just for ammo. Some complete psychological and all this stuff for ammo. Got a lot of guns and you don't have the ammo to feed them. Change your mindset for a little while and enjoy what you have firearm wise. Learn how to use it and use it well. And start stockpiling the ammo for it, because you might as well, it's as good as what? A club, right? You are instantly turned into a caveman when that last round goes boom. And your government could turn you into that caveman with a club real quick, because we all know they love to do whatever they can to get in our way, right? And to keep you from your Second Amendment rights, even though they know these guns are they know these laws, these bills are unconstitutional from the get-go. That's what irks me so bad. The Supreme Court has laid it out pretty clear with recent precedents that all of what they're doing are unconstitutional from the get-go. So common sense would say, well, we can't put a bill out there that's unconstitutional, right? It won't pass. They know it won't pass, but they tie up the system and tie you up until it runs its course over what we've seen in the past 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. That's the point. Slow it down, tie you up. That, in my opinion, is the biggest problem with what we face today. There needs to be a bill presented and passed into law that, I don't know how you'd word it exactly, but that basically says if you try to present or pass or maybe vote on a bill that is on its face unconstitutional, there are repercussions. That's what we need, because that's their game plan. They know it's unconstitutional. They toss it out there anyways. Your rights are stripped from you for the time period that it takes for this thing to run its course through the legal system, which could be a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and most likely, certainly more than 10 years if there's not an injunction put in place. So that to me is the biggest problem. That being said, I came across someone that worded it perfectly. I don't know, I'm not an attorney, obviously, but it's the closest thing I've seen put down into words that I would like to see be a bill that is absolutely passed. And I would love if someone in Congress picked this thing up and ran with it. Like I said, I don't know if the wording of this would pass legal muster or not, but there's certainly a way to state it and have it have the effect that this lays out, and I'm going to read it to you. Pro 2A congresspersons should add a rider to every gun control bill stating, if this law is found to be unconstitutional, all those who vote for this bill and or sign this bill into law, vote affirmatively, obviously, and sign this bill into law, freely admit to be in insurrection against the Constitution of the United States as defined in the 14th Amendment. How does that sound to you guys? I'll read that one more time. Pro 2A congresspersons should add a rider or amendment to every gun control bill stating, quote, if this law is found to be unconstitutional, all those who vote for this bill and or sign this bill into law freely admit to be in insurrection against the Constitution of the United States as defined in the 14th Amendment. A couple words in there a little off, and like I said, I don't know if that's legal in the least bit or could be attempted. But I think the person that put that down on paper is spot on. And they should face the consequences of that. Maybe something like they can never hold public office again. Can't run for office, can't hold a public office of state, county, local, federal, nothing. You're done. You went against the Constitution knowingly, and that's it. You're done. And there should be some way to jump it forward if it's that blatant. I don't know how you'd lay it out, but that's what needs to be on there. That in itself, I think, would prevent this. But it has to have teeth, and it has to be able to be effectuated quicker than things are being done now. How do you do that? I don't know. But that's certainly a good start. Somebody putting it on paper, talking about it, because that's their MO, right? They know it won't pass. Maybe they get lucky, but they know on its face it's unconstitutional. And they're going to do it anyways, just to tie up the system, tie you up, restrict your rights temporarily, or maybe in some cases completely, but I think that's what needs to be done. I don't know how many of you agree, but it certainly would be a good start. New gun owners weren't buying reloading components. Where did all that go? That's true, but brass was available, projectiles were available, primers weren't. That's very specialized. There's only a few plants. And when you had those big military orders that had to be filled, and then, what do you think was making all that new ammo? Components, right? What we were seeing trickling down into the reloading realm, well, we're the last area that they fill. They're filling military contracts, other governmental contracts, civilian loaded ammo, and last but not least, reloading components. That's what trickles in last. So that's where it went. Orion says, great idea. Maybe GOA could pick up on that. I got to believe somebody's thought of this, and I get it. They, like I said, there's been more bills introduced, anti-gun bills introduced in the last 2 months than there have been in the last 70 years combined. So they've got a lot on their plate. They've obviously got to choose those cases with the most meat on the bone that affect the most people and have the best chance at affecting the overall picture. That may be one of them, but right now with them out there, it's death by a thousand cuts. Keep throwing it, keep throwing it. Eat up the dollars. There's only so many dollars to pay these people that are defending against these things. Matt from Sierra's Firearms channel broke down the cost of defending a case like his or anything similar, or fighting a anti-2A bill. When he lays it out as simplistic as he does, I'm not saying he's simple, but Matt lays things out in a very basic way. Easy to understand for the layman. Maybe not perfect the way he lays it out, but he gets his point across. And when he lays out different things that the attorneys, your legal team, your defense has to do, such as reading through case law and all these different things, hundreds, thousands of pages, and then they throw something else in and discovery alone, going through it. And he lays out, by how many pages you can effectively read an hour in attorney, times the pages and how much they charge per hour. It's astronomical what the cost of it is. If you are a very, very wealthy person, you would still have a hard time paying for the defense of even the simplest case. And that's where they get their teeth. That's why they get the conviction rate they do, like 90% or something like that, 99%, 98%, something like that. Those aren't conviction rates in the true sense you think they are. They're plea bargains. Why? Because these folks wrapped up in these things look at it and say, well, I can fight it, and there's X percentage I may win. The ATF makes sure that they promote that conviction rate out there, right? Because when you lay that out there, that's the ghost in the room, the spooky. Ooh, my odds are going down, or I've only got a 2 in 100 chance of beating this thing. And look what it's going to cost me. And they say, well, I'm probably going to lose this. I got to spend all this money. I'll just take the plea bargain. And that's where it comes from. I give Matt some credit. He decided to fight this. I mean, what else are your choices when you have 2 little kids and wife, or a little kid? I don't know if they got 1 or 2 kids. What's your choice? You've got to. And he's doing it. He's had some help, of course, but he's doing it. And that's hard to find somebody that will at risk, right? A lot will say, well, 18 months or maybe set and served and a fine, or 5 years is certainly better than 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. 5 counts at 10 years a piece. Who wants to do that? All you need is one slip through the cracks or something, and boom, you're off to, as he says, federal bang me in the whatever prison, right? That's a scary proposition. So that's where it comes from. That being said, the dollar amount it costs, he makes perfect sense laying that out. Go watch the video. Think about that. Think about what it's costing the GOA and the different state rifle associations and Firearm Fund, even the NRA that kicked in some money. Think about what it costs to pay these top lawyers, these expert witnesses, everybody to fight these things. Guys, if you got enough guns and you got enough ammo, or even if you don't, I'd support these groups. I'd probably go GOA first. They seem to be having the most effect. If you've got strong state rifle associations, back them. Whoever's bringing these cases, throw them some money. You want to throw all in one pot or a little here, a little there? They need money. That's how we win this thing. Unfortunately, it's true. That's what the world revolves around. And that's what gets the job done at the end of the day. And they've got huge backers. We all know who they are, that just throw astronomical sums of money at their cause without blinking an eye. And we don't seem to have those on the right. We don't have big contributors, right? That'll lay a couple million out there. Maybe there is. Maybe I just don't know about them. I don't know. But they should certainly get a round of applause if they do exist, and get our appreciation as well as support. And we need to do what we can do on whatever level you're at, whether it's $5, $10, 25, 100, 1,000, 10,000. They need the money to keep the fight going. And I believe we are very close to a massive turning point in Second Amendment legislation and the overall health of the Second Amendment. We are at that time period where it's do or die. What comes of all of this will, I believe, what sets the tone going forward for a very long time, probably generationally. While I think they'll always try and fight, obviously, it will certainly give us a good supply of ammo, put it that way. And that's what we need to do. It can't be done without it. So take that time. I know everyone means well, and yeah, I'm going to send them. I got to get around to it. Go online, few clicks, whatever, $10. You won't miss it. And help things out, because God knows they need our help. You guys aren't very talkative the last few chats. What's going on? Not much to talk about? Are we sick about YouTube being solid 2A material lately? We saw SHOT Show come and go, and there were some neat things there. But you didn't see many videos on the latest and greatest, did you? It seems to be overwhelmed by Second Amendment content. And I think maybe we're all worn down by that a little bit. Well, don't let them get to you. Enjoy what you came to here to enjoy. Enjoy the content that's out there. I've got a little bit of an excuse right now with all this snow, but believe me, as soon as we can get out there, we'll be bringing you as much as we can. Great idea. Maybe GOA could pick up on this. Oh, that was the other one. Rabbit says Atlantic Firearms has M77s with wood furniture slightly cheaper than the polymer ones. Something to try. Any other good deals? Anybody come across any good deals? Anybody? Boy, you guys are dead. Did I pick bad subjects? Stuff you don't like? We don't have that many people in here tonight either. But let's see. 2A EDU just posted that they introduced 13 more gun control bills in Michigan today. Yeah, it might seem like it, Ross, but you can't take that. You can't take it to heart. Don't let it get you down. Know that the California thing's about to break wide open, and that's going to affect a lot of stuff. Stuff coming out of Texas on the bump stock ban. That's going to have a ton of effect on Chevron deference and a lot of other stuff out there. New York is going to come to a head here pretty quick. And that's going to affect Illinois. That'll affect stuff for you guys in Michigan. Um, just got to hang tough. Hang tough and support the ones supporting those suits in your state and federally. We got to get past this brace rule. We got to get an injunction. States like, I know you're not there yet, but like Michigan, Illinois, New Jersey, all of these, we need to get past these. An injunction is the first step. So you're not losing your rights while the fight goes on. That's where we got to get. Get involved locally. Find out from your local FFLs who's supporting what. They're who knows. They know first what the organizations are doing, who the attorneys are, who the groups are going to be. In some cases, the FFLs are part of it. If they are, they may not say a lot to you at first, but they'll let you know who's going to be on the front battling this. They have the ins and knowledge to know who to talk to and get that information because they involve the FFLs. Yes, it's our rights, but it's their livelihood on top of their rights for these guys that are FFLs. Think about it. Not only losing your right, but they're losing their livelihood and their ability to support their family, their wives, their children, put food on the table, on top of losing their rights. Think they got a little on the line? Government's telling them, yep, you're losing that right. And by the way, you can't put food in your kid's mouth tonight because what you do is now illegal. You need to go down, get a job at McDonald's, work here, work there, but you're not going to be running this illegal business that you've built and bled and sweat over, maybe for your whole life, your parents' life. A lot of these FFLs have been around, again, generationally, and they're pulling the carpet out from under them. I had a buddy call me today, and when he called, I happened to be in that Bass Pro Shop. And he said, how's it going? I said, great, man. I'm looking at more guns. Man, I hadn't seen that many firearms in one place in a long, long time. And there was everything. And I felt really good today about it. When I mentioned it to him, he said, you're making me sad. I said, why? He says, because he was in Cabela's, which is, as most of us know, co-owned by Bass Pro Shop. And he said, I was in a Bass Pro. He was in a Cabela's down in Illinois. And he said, I was standing there and there's nothing on the racks. They can't sell anything. 80% of what they sell, they can't sell anymore. Believe it or not, he said he went over to whatever it is, the section where they have all the Magpul stuff, parts, accessories, anything that could be put on an AR or an AK or anything on their ban list, I guess, was pulled off the shelves. You can't buy a grip. You can't buy a safety. You can't buy a trigger. You can't buy a handguard. You can't buy a QD point. Anything that can go on to either replace a part, make, or repair an assault weapon made by Magpul was gone. You know what that left? There's slings and a few other things, generic things. He said the shelves are bare. Magazines gone. Parts gone, stocks gone, every accessory you can think of and part under the sun gone. All the weapons off the racks. There's nothing left. They could condense their entire firearms section, he said, down to, 2 or 3 aisles. That used to be 15 aisles. He said it's just so sad. It's like, what's going on? It's like a ghost town. That's how he described it. Um, everybody knew this was coming, right? We knew they were trying. We knew they would get a bill voted uh, on a state level in all these anti-gun states, and even the federal level. We saw all this stuff coming down the pipe, and we did this. We crossed our fingers and we closed our eyes and we prayed and we wished, and that's not what gets it, guys. Action gets it, and money gets it. Um, do what you can when you can, and keep up the fight. Don't batter yourself with the we're screwed. It's done. It's not done by a long shot. There's plenty to go. Yep. Could it screw us up for quite a while? Yep. But I think we will get an injunction on both the brace thing and in the states, a lot of these states that are just now hitting, like Michigan, like Illinois. I think you'll see injunctions on these as well. Hopefully something, if it's going to happen, I'm not wishing it to happen, but if it's going to happen, hopefully Michigan happens quick so they can start fighting. I'm not going to even say anything to help that side, but they need to dig in quick so they're not learning from prior states and what they're doing to fight it. They need to come down the pipe quick before they learn, oh, yeah, we got to watch out for this now, or we got to do it this way because look what happened here, kind of thing. If it's going to happen, hopefully it happens quick. Hopefully they don't wait to see what's going on and help it. So I don't know. What is this national divorce? What's his name came out with a video. Well, a couple people did, but the main guy that started it was Warrior Poet Society. Essentially talking about secession sort of thing, or divorcing ourselves from the government, essentially saying, you know what, it's so screwed up, we need to burn it down, or we need to wipe it away, clear the slate, and start over. And that's in his argument, at least, or his topic in conversation was that's not the way to look at it. While it's easy to get frustrated, throw up our arms and say, that's what we want. We just need to wipe the slate clean. This is so screwed up. We can't change it. We got to start over, whether that be through secession or whether that be through a complete revamp of the entire system. I guess anything's feasible, right? But at the end of the day, our system's the best system ever in the history of modern civilization. This great experiment we have here, while not perfect, is the best thing that's ever come down the pipe. We just need to make it more perfect. That's all. We need to close those gaps that allowed these arguments / ideas / items to come through, to invade and worm their way in to where the true intent of the founders and their documents, our documents, certainly would not uh, have even been in the least bit uh, not tolerated, but allowed in. It would have been no. They can't do that. But while they were just absolutely amazingly intelligent men that wrote amazing documents, nobody can foresee everything, right? And nobody can see a cultural change brought about through um, the brainwashing and the push of these nonsensical, non-common sense ideals. Um, Communism, socialism are insidious things that are brought about through the use of and creation of chaos, right? Of redefining things, about the breakdown of what culture was here to where they, and I mean they, have brought it. Granted, we allowed this, but we just need to close those gaps in the system, whether that be through amendment or other legal means. It needs to be changed and changed for good. Sure, you could tear it all down and start from scratch and build a better mousetrap, I guess. But I don't think in the long run that would not work out. I don't think it's too dangerous. I think you could easily lose sight of what you wanted to begin with. I think the outside forces, evil forces, bad forces, wanting something completely different, could be let in through a door we never meant to open. You know what I mean? I think we're better off tweaking what we have and making it better. That's how we solve it. I think this national divorce idea is not a good thing. My opinion. Interesting video he put out. I think Black Scout Survival also put one out. And one other was talking about it. Those three hit the other day, and then some of the other channels have. It's become kind of a buzzword, and people are talking about it. But hey, who knows? That's maybe how revolutions start, right? But one doesn't need to look much past the French Revolution to see the bad side of some of that. Really bad side, right? It starts out with good intention, and just through the change, the lack of authority and law, the lack of rule of law for a period, and maybe the built up frustration of the people lead to some really bad stuff. You could suddenly become exactly what you were fighting against, right? You could become sort of that tyranny, perhaps. And that's not what we believe in, I think, right? We love our country and we respect those founding documents and our country, our way of life. our freedoms. And I think you risk um, ending up with a much different outcome. It's sort of like opening Pandora's box in a way, but not partially. You follow me? Um, it's not a new subject, but maybe because it's hitting a little closer to home for a lot of people, there's more talk about it. And people look at it from a more real sense or a realistic sense. And it gets them thinking. And just be careful sometimes where thoughts from frustration lead to. We got a good thing, and they put a good system in place. Like anything, right? There's loopholes and things, and we need to close them. Just like the gun show loophole, just like that. Yeah. You guys get what I'm saying. Careful what you wish for sometimes, um, or careful to the extent of the wish, maybe. Um, that being said, that doesn't take away um, any of our beliefs, and all we want is our country back, right? We want to be left alone to enjoy our lives, have our liberties and our freedoms, be able to provide for, protect, and care for our families, our country, our way of life, our traditions. And that's that. We don't want to affect any other body's happiness or way of life. This country was founded on those things. And I guess at the end of the day, like it or not, if you are part of this country, that's what this country was founded on. And if you don't like it, there's other countries. But you can't just up and change everything just because you got the feels. Um, yeah. At the end of the day, this country was founded in Christianity. It truly was. Dig in your pocket, pull out a quarter, pull out a dollar bill. Tells you everything you need to know right on the face of that coin, doesn't it? Well, what about freedom of religion? It says that right there in those documents you're talking about, Chris. Yes, it does. It does. And no one's here to infringe upon that either. You can practice any religion you like. But there's also a lot of verbiage that says, when you become a citizen or we take you in, that there is an assimilation, right? And it may not be religious, but it's ideals, morals, and ethics, right? Um, and that's what we have allowed to go on, is that assimilation is somehow looked at as oppression, and it's not. If you're part of this country, or any country for that matter, you should be proud of your country and your way of life. And you should be here because you see the value in the freedoms and the liberties we have. And you should be proud of it. And you should want to perpetuate it, not tear it down. There's plenty of places where you can go and enjoy exactly what you want to enjoy without infringing upon my rights and the rights of my fellow citizens. That's what it comes down to. And there's just a lot of people that don't believe that. in my opinion, have been brainwashed into thinking that way, and through very powerful outside sources who want nothing but power and uh, money and greed, have pushed these ideals because they have a plan, and that's what the playbook says to do. And if you look at what's happened, you can open a couple books that will be amazingly similar to the plan that's been affected over the last uh, 50 years here in this country. And I think people are finally waking up to the fact that, guess they have been working pretty hard at this, and I've been sitting back doing a lot of nothing, allowing it to happen. Well, it's time you put in a little overtime. That's all. That's all. Right? Anyhow, yeah, go watch those videos. They're interesting, and they give perspective on it, and it's always good to have as many perspectives as you can, right? It's good to consume all the information you can, and then through using your God-given brain and smarts and common sense, come to a conclusion. And those that have those qualities always seem to come to the same conclusion, don't they? Those that are lacking a little bit come to a different conclusion. And they're more than welcome to do that. Just go do it somewhere where you're amongst like-minded people. That's all. And I don't mean all the same people. I mean like-minded people. Doesn't matter their color, their race, their creed, their religion, their sex. It doesn't mean any of those things. It means like-minded, thinking in the same manner, enjoying and having the same ideals. That's what it comes down to. But, how quickly they can spin that. Yeah, I don't know. I've stopped watching all those soapbox style YouTubers, information overload. How about the Dilbert comic strip writer? What about him? I don't know anything about Dilbert. I was never into comic strips. Charles Schultz, I know who he is. That's about it. That's all I got, guys. That's all I got. Yeah, national divorce. That's a good. That's a good catchphrase for it, I guess. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think there's some good parts of that and some bad parts. Like I said, it's careful what you wish for. Anywho, I hope this snow melts a little bit so we can get out and bring you some of the new toys we talked about. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Right now, all I can do is keep making more bullets so we can get out to the range and shoot a whole bunch and bring you guys a lot of cool stuff. That's all. But we are currently buried. That's all. That's all. Heck of a way to come back from 85-degree weather, isn't it? Anywho, if you guys got nothing else, I'm a little calm tonight. Can you tell? I told myself I wasn't going to rant and rave. And I was going to talk about just good stuff and, comment on your stuff and go from there. His comic has been dropped by pretty much all the news. I know what Dilbert is. I never followed it or read it much. Seen it, of course, but he went on a weird rant about getting away from black people and not helping them. He's a white guy who previously identified as black, but then went back to being white. Upside down clown world, isn't it? Upside down clown world. See, that's upside down clown world. It's um, especially what's his name from Warrior Poet Society. Um, it's him just addressing a catchphrase that's been being thrown around. And I think he did a masterful job at covering it and talking about maybe some of the dangers of it and whatnot. So if you get a chance, go over there and check it out. He has a fabulous brand and a fabulous channel, and he stands for everything this country needs, and certainly where we need to go. Great channel. Great channel. I am a member, a subscriber. I pay for his thing every month. I think he certainly deserves it. Class act, class channel with great production, great weekly shows of all kinds of self-defense and ways of training and getting in shape, for getting not only your body in shape, your mind in shape, everything. Just a really, really good channel. And what men, the protectors, should stand for, and what a man should be. In the best sense of the word. I think a lot of people maybe hear bits and pieces and want to right away go to, oh, he's a misogynist, or he's a chauvinist, or whatever. But nothing could be further from the truth. If you think about it, we are the protectors, right? We are the protectors of our families, our wives, our children. That's what we're here to do. That is our job. That's not to take away from our mates or wives and say they're unable to do that. They are certainly able to do that. There's nothing more protective and more fierce than a mother, right? But there are roles, and some of us are better at certain roles. And that's not to say some are male and some are female. They certainly cross over. It is what it is, but we are protectors, and that's what we're here for. And he puts it out there in a way that I guess the title says it best, a warrior poet, right? How to do it with class, style, while being a gentleman, and a good member of the community, and everything else that goes along with it. Warrior poet. It's a great way to put it. I wish I had thought of it. Anyhow, yeah, I enjoy his channel for what that's worth. If you guys have never been over there, go over, check it out. If you subscribe to their network, they have their own platform they've built. So if this platform goes away, and a lot of other big gun tubers are on there with their own shows and all kinds of stuff, different content, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. He certainly knows his stuff. He's ex-Special Forces and the real deal, not a poser, not a pogue. Anyhow, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Something a little different. I didn't really know which direction it would go, but kind of neat, kind of neat. I enjoyed it. Predicting 11 inches for Chicago on Friday. Damn, 11 inches down there for you would be the equivalent of 4 feet up here. 11 inches will shut you down, won't it? I'm watching a pretty funny channel called Lord Wojak. Check it out. All right. Chase 200 rounds of 45 and about 200 rifle rounds today. Rifle and pistol all slick and clean. Way to go. It feels good when you get back from the range and you get everything cleaned up right away and slicked up and looking good and back ready to go again, doesn't it? Sucks when you get home and you're tired or you got something to do and you don't get to it right away and you just feel like things are left undone, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. That's a good feeling, man. I'm glad you got it. Um, hey, if you're down, Ross seems a little down over things. I get it, man. I certainly get it. But no better way to pull yourself up out of it than grab your favorite toy and go clean her up, polish her up a little bit. And maybe after work or weekend or whatever, get out and have a little fun. That's what you need to do. And think about not how screwed we are, but how well we are going to fight this and overcome it. That's all. That's what you got to do. And you got some of the best people in the country over there with you. So never fear. Never fear. At the end of the day, guys, this is a true battle of good and evil. It truly is. I believe that. And in the end, who wins out? Good always overtakes evil. So never fear. If you believe in Jesus Christ and he's on our side, no problem. We got it done. All right, guys, have a good week. Do the right thing all week. Bring people into the fold. Don't be afraid to speak out like I always tell you. And do a little something about it every day, whether it's a phone call, a letter, making a connection, donating some money, whatever it is you can do to help the cause, get out and do it. It'll make you feel good and it will bolster your spirits and it'll make you stronger and the whole community and movement stronger. So get out there and do it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. You just got to get involved. So you guys have a good week and we will talk to you soon. Got a couple tabletops coming to you, so watch for those. I hope you enjoy them. Oh, did I tell you guys? Did I say this last week? We hit 1 million views. I think I told you guys that, though. I don't know. Pretty impressive. Never thought I'd get there. I certainly thought when we hit that there'd be a lot more money involved somehow. But man, what are you gonna do? It's all fun in the end, and we're doing good here, guys. Just remember we are. We can have all the fun in the world and we goof around, joke around, talk about stupid stuff sometimes, but at the end of the day, we're doing something good. And if you're having a good time and get a little mental relief, stress relief, where's Joe? Joe ain't even been talking. Joe must have fallen asleep. He pops in and then he's gone. I don't know what's going on. Usually he's full with his chat and he's not in there. Anyhow, all you guys, I love you all. Thanks for coming every week and hanging out and giving me a chance to expound upon stuff. Nobody else wants to listen to me. But I hope you enjoyed it. And we love you all. Thanks for everything you do. And thanks for helping us get to 1 million views. That's absolutely mind-boggling to me. But hey, it is because of you guys. So once again, thanks. Put a little thought into it. Go check out that channel I told you about and maybe watch those videos on that divorce. It'll give you a different perspective. And it's a good perspective and it'll get the juices flowing and get some thinking done. Because it's always good. New ideas, ways to go about everything and get it done. So, all right, guys, have a good week. Keep your spirits up. And as always, Rockford Ordnance out.